Hi, my name is Rachelle Smith, entrepreneur, professional speaker, and author. Here I am, yet again, in Rachelle's kitchen. Actually, today is August 14th, and I am getting ready to season some of Rachelle's infamous Cajun baked chicken, as well as some other food delicacies. I'm having Northwestern alumni potluck here at my house, and I'm looking forward to hanging out, celebrating, having fun, and most importantly, discussing current events and current topics, hot topics for today with my fellow Northwestern alums. Folks, there's a reason why they call it Northwestern. Nerd Western, pardon me. Many people call it Nerd Western instead of Northwestern. Anyway, wanted to share my thoughts here as I just turned on my oven here. Had to make sure everything was all set in the right place. Made sure to close the door here so I can start this video. And so it kind of inspired me as I think about the importance of the blessing of closed doors. You know, much like when I make my Cajun bake, my signature Cajun baked chicken wings, it is so important that I close the door on the oven. It's wonderful if I put them in there and the temperature is right and all of that, but it's going to be a wasted effort if I don't close the door, because closing that door enables them to cook through thoroughly and, you know, as they come out as they should. But much like life, much like life is just like the analogy I just used for my Cajun baked chicken wings. And that is, there is truly a blessing in closed doors. And from time to time, I'm going to drop in one of these deep messages in here. But when I think about my own life, and folks, you've heard me say, my dad was in the Navy. I was in the Navy, born in a naval institution, naval installation. And I've had a tremendous amount of change in my life in terms of moving a lot of times and, you know, growing up as an adult and living in that military environment where it's a lot of broken attachments and people leaving and coming and going, and I'm leaving, coming and going. And so it has just been I've experienced a lot of change in my life, a lot of just instability and things like that. So attachments and things like that are very, very important to me. And so I think it's wonderful for the people who say, I've been best friends with so-and-so for the last 52 years and we grew up on the same street. I can't even fathom what that's like, as I've been in lived on a whole lot of different streets, you know, in the course of my life, and I wouldn't trade any of that for the world, because it's helped to shape me into the person that I am today. Much like the closed doors of my oven here will make my chicken the best that it can absolutely be once it's cooked thoroughly and seasoned correctly. And so when I think about, again, these closed doors, and so there's two different types of scenarios in which this can happen, and this is when doors are closed on you, whether that be a relationship ending that you perhaps didn't anticipate, or you didn't want the relationship to end, or friendship, or professionally, perhaps your company closed, or you got downsized or laid off or terminated. Those are some of the scenarios where you necessarily didn't have the choice to make the change happen or to close the door. It was kind of the door was closed on you. And also conversely, the other scenario is when you close the door yourself. And so both types of scenarios cause change in our lives, but particularly the first door, when doors are kind of closed on us, I think that's when people have the most trouble, tend to be more anxiety provoking and more worrisome and more frustrating when doors are closed on us. But just recognize, folks, change and closed doors is a fact of life. And when you may not understand it at the time when doors are closed on you, many cases, and I know many of you would agree, that those closed doors, while you didn't recognize it at the time, turned out to be awesome blessings for you, because they opened a door. One closed door opened up a better door. And I feel so strongly about that concept. And when I think about my own life, as you know, I'm about to celebrate here with some of my fellow Northwestern alumni here in Metro Detroit. When I think about being a junior as an undergraduate in Louisiana, and folks, we're talking about, again, a door was closed on me. I was a young, impressionable, but driven, focused, ambitious junior in college. And a friend of mine who's in the military, and I probably always consider him to be the finest man I've never dated. And folks, there could have been a potential relationship, a romantic relationship between the two of us, but folks, let me tell you what he said. And of course, looking back, I remember at the time I've said something like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" You know, and now it's just such a blessing. It's like, thank you so much. But folks, what he told me was this: Rachelle, you're a good woman. You're smart. You're fit. You have a good head on your shoulders. I don't want to become a distraction. You have a lot of things you want to achieve in life. I don't want to get in the way of your ambition and what you're trying to do in life. And I remember thinking at the time, what are you talking about, dude? What's blah, 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 blah. But now looking back in hindsight, again, him closing that door, but also, and this is a big one, his being so unselfish to tell me that, to say, I don't want to distract you. Because again, back then, I hadn't achieved anything. I was an undergraduate. I was always talking about my career and my ambition, and my drive was so apparent for anybody who knew me, and of course even still knows me now. And so he told me that, and I look back now with such gratitude. And I lost touch with him 10, 11 years ago. I can't remember when it was, a long time ago. And he had married and had 5 kids and still lives in that same city, still in Louisiana, hasn't left, retired from the military, is still there. And so, and again, the wisdom, of course, me having more life experience now, I can see, I was super driven and ambitious and all of that, but he could recognize there was going to be, he was a little bit older than me, there was going to be some compatibility issues because I'm always looking to grow and achieve and make stuff happen. And he just wanted, just kind of a more average and wonderful wfor him and wonderful for his family, wanted that lifestyle. And he knew that wasn't me then, and it's still not me now. Me settling down and having multiple children. I've always been very career driven. And that was very even apparent even back then. And so that closed door for me was a blessing. That someone cared enough about my dreams and my goals, because a lot of men would not have made that decision. They wouldn't have cared about distracting me or throwing me off course or breaking my heart or causing me to just kind of go off in a different direction. But I'm just so grateful. When he came to my graduation, when I graduated from college, he came to my graduation party I had at my parents' house, was super supportive, and I'm just so grateful to that, because I graduated from there, then went to FIU, got my first graduate degree, then moved to Chicago and got my second graduate degree, and then started in the corporate world. So my path has been a wonderful path, a path I'm so grateful for, and I'm just so grateful for the even opportunity to go to Northwestern and just have my fellow alums here, over here today, to just kind of hang out and, like I said, discuss hot topics and just let our intelligence shine through. We're total nerds, but that's okay. But took that closed door in order for other doors to continue to open for me. All right? And so the same thing is true. And you may be facing situations where you have to close doors. And like I mentioned, that second scenario, yes, we will have to have courage and confidence in order to close doors in our lives. And we have to recognize that the person on the doors who may be on the other side of that door you're about to close or have closed or thinking about closing is going to be okay. And the organization or the business or whoever you're working for or a nonprofit, whatever the case may be. I think a lot of times we tell ourselves that the other person's their life's going to end, or the company's going to fall apart if we leave, and nothing could be further from the truth. And so walking away, something I heard back in 2008, it was actually at a conference and heard Pastor John Hagee speak. It was in San Antonio. Something I never forgot. That quote, I wrote it down. I'm a big quote person. And it is actually one of my life mantras. I heard him say then, but it took a couple years for it to really set in and permeate my brain, where I really started embracing what that meant. And that is, he said, what you're willing to walk away from will determine what God can bring you to. What you're willing to walk away from will determine what God can bring you to. And I think a lot of times in life, it's easy for us to get stuck in a bad situation or a situation that isn't working out, a situation that isn't happy, and there's no resolution. There's nothing we can do to change or improve the situation. And the truth is, we need to walk away. We need to end the relationship. We need to walk away from the job. But I think fear, insecurity, worry, anxiety, all of those negative emotions keep people stuck in those scenarios. So I've done a real work in terms of walking away, and when God taps me on the shoulder and says, the season for this is over. You need to let this go. And I listen, and I always remember that quote. What was that quote again? And then it infuses me with courage and the confidence I need to make the decision to walk away. All right, it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's something that has to be done, because, folks, something I've learned is this. When I walk away, there's always something better on the other side. Always something better. But it's that old notion of you know what you know, you're comfortable with what you know, you're comfortable here, And so a lot of people are very hesitant. Most people are hesitant to step out on faith, to step out, to take the risk of going over here to this other side. Okay, and there's always in my life, just as a testimony, there's always been something better for me. You know, I'm a woman of faith. I have no problem, sharing that with you and just recognize. I want you to recognize there's a lot of things and there's a lot of philosophy, there's a lot of themes and mindsets and beliefs and values that I have. When you see how I live my life, when you see how happy I am, this is one of the reasons why. All right, because if I'm in a situation where I'm not happy, it's not working out, whatever this and that, I'm pretty quick. I'm very, very good about taking swift action. And that's why it's often known is that I don't complain. You'll hear me complain about something once, twice, 3 times max. And you won't hear me complain about it again because I've changed the situation, whether that's going to another location, doing something different, leaving this, or changing this, always. But I've got to be willing to do my part. And the blessing is those doors that others have closed on me, as well as the doors I've had to close, have been such blessings in my life and have shaped me. All the closed doors, all right, have shaped me into the person that I am today. And I'm so grateful. I am so grateful for those doors who were shut on me, those doors that were shut on me, all right, as well as the doors over here that I closed, because there was always this awesome big open door waiting for me on the other side that was full of life, hope, happiness, energy, positivity, future victory. All of that was waiting for me through that big open door each and every time. So it's time for me to get over here and season these Cajun chicken wings, get ready for my potluck. But I wanted to share these thoughts with you. Whenever doors close in your life, yes, grieve if you need to, be sad, spend some time, but don't spend too much time. All right, you've got a life to live. You've got to keep on keeping on. You got to keep it moving. You got to focus forward. And I assure you, each and every door that closes will shape you into a much better person if you allow it to. So I thank you so much for your time. Make it a wonderful day.